Alright folks, it's been a while, so I figured I'd make another update video just to let you know where things are. I'm still out here. So if you notice, the backdrop looks a little different. Part of the reason why I've been kind of off the scene is I did my first real long haul. I went picked up this load right here from McGuire Air Force Base in Jersey, and I'm dropping it off at some marine terminal out here in San Diego. So these are helicopter blades. So I'm dropping them off on Monday. I picked them up last Monday, and yeah, I'll find me something. I'm actually gonna hang out here for a little bit. I got family out here, and find me something to get me back to the East Coast. So on top of that, there's a couple of things with going east to west. Let me see if I can reset this for you. All right, so before I get into the whole getting started up, like what startup costs are, because that's one of the things I get asked the most, just give a quick recap on this East Coast to West Coast trip. So it started out on Monday, coming out of I picked up in McGuire Air Force Base in Jersey. From there, I stopped in Knoxville, Tennessee. The next stop after that, the next day was forget the name of the town. It was just past Benton in Arkansas. Then the next day, the stop was in, rode straight through, went straight to Texas to New Mexico. Stopped in New Mexico for a night, then to Arizona. Stayed there for a couple of nights, did the Grand Canyon, and then rolled on to San Diego, where I'm at today. So it was a pretty easy run. It rained pretty much every day. Not terrible, but every day it rained at some point up until when I got I crossed over into like Texas. Then it was pretty much no more rain. On the day when I went from Arkansas into New Mexico, that day I got 2 level 1 inspections on the same day. I started out 10 minutes on the road, had to go through a weigh station. It was pretty early too. It was like before 7, I want to say. Guy told me to pull me. I went through the scale. He told me to pull over and bring him my paperwork. So I brought him the paperwork. He said, I'm going to do a level 1 inspection for you. Did the whole deal. And then he was like, well, I don't have any stickers for you, but if you show him this paper, show an officer this paper, you should be good for 3 months. You don't have to get inspected. Cool. So then rolled on, kept on going. When I hit New Mexico, it seems like the way they do it is when you come in the state, they check you out, and it looks like they didn't have any more weigh stations throughout the state on 40 at least. So anyway, I got in there, I showed him my paperwork. The officer, he was like, well, you don't have a sticker. And so I'm going to inspect you anyway. I was like, yeah, the guy told me in Arkansas that he didn't have any. So to just show you the paperwork, and the officer in New Mexico was like, I don't know about that, but he said, I'll look at your paperwork, and, if everything's good, I'll just get you on your way. So pulled around. He basically did another level 1 inspection. He actually did more because he did my emergency brake check, which I had never had done before. And what he did was he told me to climb in the bed, and the cable that attaches to the bed of the truck from the trailer for the emergency brake, he told me to pull that pin out and then get back in the truck, and then I put it in drive, and then take your foot off the brake, and then the trailer should catch. And I never did that before. It was I was really anxious because I was like, I never did this. And if once I put it in drive and the truck started to roll, I was like, oh no, because if it doesn't, then he was going to shut me down. But it grabbed and it was all good. So he put my sticker on and sent me on my way. Oh, wrong. Didn't send me on my way. So to go into New Mexico, you had to have a permit. So it was like $26. If you're a commercial vehicle, you got to have a permit. just to, I guess, haul in that state or something like that. So anyway, I paid the $26 and kept going. And I didn't see any more weigh stations for the rest of the state. The next, I did, however, when I went into Arizona, I pulled into, I showed the lady, they only wanted to see my bill of lading when I went through their scales. And she said I had to come in and buy a permit also there. So I went in, and it was based on weight and based on how long I was going to be in there. And I think it ended up costing me like $80. I think to go in one way was only like $38, but I wasn't sure whether or not I'm gonna come back the same way or not. So I just got it just to be safe. It was like $79, $80. Kept it moving all the way into San Diego. That's where I'm at now. So on to the whole startup cost thing. So I'm gonna try to simplify this as much as possible. If I breeze over something too fast, just send me an email if you want a little bit more specific. I mean, I don't know how much more I'm gonna be able to give you, but anyway, for me, first thing I did was I started out with I filed my LLC through InkFile. That was like $600. And then I did the MC authority number, the DOT, the UCR, and the BOC3. I did all of that through Progressive Reporting. I think they charge about $600 to do the whole thing too. So right there we're at about $1,200. So that's just to get the administrative paperwork done for hauling freight. So then it's the matter of the equipment. The truck came from Enterprise, is $3,500 down. The insurance for me in Delaware is, I think they quoted me like $16,000 a year. And that was, so you have to put down, like, actually I'm wrong. It was like $20,000, but because I had a ticket online that was coming off in a month. So that was almost a deal breaker for me, but the ticket came off and my rate dropped down. So at the time it was like $19,000. So to get the policy started, I had to give them like 10%, which was like, call it $2,000. So, so for the truck and insurance, that was, call it $5,500, just over $5,000. So I'm at $5,500 so far. And then with, like I said, the LLC and the filing of the MC paperwork stuff. So that's, like I said, $1,255. So I'm at like $6,700, call it $7,000 so far. And then, I had to, I went and got some securement stuff. I think I might have spent $1,000 on securement when I first started. So, maybe call that, about 8,000. Make sure I did that right. So you got 1,200 for the paperwork, 35. So that's 47. So 35 for the truck. That's 47. Another 2 for the insurance. That's, I'm at like 67. So call it 7,000. Call it another 1,000. That's 8. So it cost me about $8,000 to get started, roughly. I didn't buy as much securement as I should have. I could have easily spent another $1,000 because I didn't have a tarp. I didn't get as many chains as I should have. Then moving blankets and all that stuff. I didn't have like a box for my stuff in my bed. So, yeah. So I was close to 10,000, between 8 and 10 for me to start up, 8, 9. So that's just for me. Depending on where you live, your insurance could drive that up or down. Like I said, mine was pretty steep to start out with. There's people I've talked to that their insurance was only $4,000 or $5,000 a year. You put 10% of that down, that'll drop. 10% of 5,000, you only put in. That saves you about $1,500 over what I had to pay. So anyway, that's startup costs. I don't know if there's anything else. Yeah, that's all I can think of for right now. Oh, I'm wrong. Trailer. So I had to so the trailer was $8,000. I had to give them, 10% to get it started. So it's another $800. So yeah, that's what I said. Between that, push it right up to about $9,000. That is it. So yeah, truck, trailer, insurance, paperwork, and business license. I'm sure I'm forgetting something. If I do, just, hit me up in the comments or shoot me an email. I apologize. I'm not making videos as much as I have been. Been just really embracing, getting out there and hauling. And also I've been doing a lot of offline connections with people as much as I can. Making phone calls while I'm on the road is just a little easier. So yeah, that's it for now. Feel free to send me an email to rocketshiptsuploads@gmail.com. And yeah, I'll like I said in the previous videos, I'll go through them, see what the general theme of the questions are. I might even take a stab at like reading a specific question that if it's concise enough, like, some people, when I get emails, they are pretty lengthy, so I'm not reading all that. But if I can get a nice concise email, that's something I haven't really covered that I think other people would want to know about, specific to like my journey. I'll give a stab at like actually, reading, who it came from and what the question is about. So that's it for now. Talk to you guys all in the next video. Peace.